if you're smart, if you respect yourself, your well-being, you just wanted more sleep, you actually skipped the Michigan State game, or you just skipped one half of it, you just missed more of the same defense.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you will get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, how on earth are we all doing on this? Yeah, I'll call it a Sunday morning. It is 2:45 right now. The game is actually still going on. There's less than 3 minutes left. Aiden Chiles just connected on a really nice touchdown with Omari Kelly, but still, it is still a two-touchdown game right now, so apologies for getting an early start on the post-game show at 2:45 in the morning. But yeah, guys, here we are. Whether you want to commiserate, whether you want to join us in ranting and raving about this defense, the good and the bad that we saw with the offense, the other issues that we have with the coaching staff for the third week in a row, whatever it is, hey, welcome. Or if you're one of those people that you went to bed at halftime. You saw that this game was not going to go Michigan State's way, and you just want a refresher on what happened in the first half. You want to know what happened in the second half. You never even saw a snap of this game. Guys, we're going to do it all for you right here. But first, rate, review, subscribe, do whatever makes you happy. And if that means venting about this defense, go ahead and comment below because, yeah, that's what we're going to start this show with. And before going any further, tip the hat. Of course, give the credit to USC. That is a pretty good team, right? We talked about it all up and down last week. They got a really good pass rush. Their offense, they could obviously move the ball. You get it, right? Goes out saying that, yeah, USC's the top 25 for a reason, okay? And you know what? Sure, I'll throw up the pom-poms. I'll put my green and white face paint on really quick. That was a really good effort in the second half. That's actually really impressive that this team did not show any quit when they had really every reason to. The defense, they probably knew themselves that they couldn't get a stop the entire game. They also saw 5 starters leave this game with an injury, namely Wayne Matthews, who went to the hospital. And the latest update that we have is that he does have movement in his extremities. But still, anytime a guy's leaving a game with an injury where you're hoping to hear that he has movement of his limbs, yeah, that's got to be jarring for the team. They really had to overcome a lot of adversity in that game. So really quick, it's going to go ahead and just give them some credit for that one before we go any further and have an honest dialogue about this game too, because, well, don't say I didn't tell you so about that game. Right after the Youngstown State game, in that post-game show, I said that I would be shocked if Michigan State gets more than 1 or 2 stops against USC. Surprise, they got 2 stops. They got that 4th down stop in the first half, and then Amarion Smith with a really nice punch-out in the second half. Beyond that, you never saw USC's punter, unless he trots out on the field in the last 2 minutes of the game, which I don't suspect. And yeah, USC, they had their absolute way with you, as we all expected, because yeah, it didn't look great after Boston College dropped 390 passing yards on you. Youngstown State, their quarterback, had his 3rd most ever passing yards in his career against you, a group of 4 team, and it looks like a lot of the same issues as last season of just never being able to get to the passer. Yeah, this defense is quite the issue, and they will continue to be an issue for the rest of the season, and I'm going to mirror what I said last week. I'm not going to panic, I'm not going to spiral, and I'm not going to yell, because I'm in just an acceptance phase of where this defense is at for the rest of the season. Guys, not great. Let's just go through some stats right here. Again, more than 500 yards of offense for USC, and in the first half, when this game was kind of all but decided, I know they made it kind of close in the second half here, but stick with me here. In the first half, USC, they had 13 plays that went for at least 10 yards. All right, they went into the locker room at halftime, 191 passing yards, 9.1 yards per carry on the ground. And they were calling their plays just knowing that they were better than you. And that's truly what it really comes down to. I mean, look, RG3 said it at the very end of the first half. He said USC is trying to send a statement to the Big Ten with running the ball and being physical. And like, I don't think RG3 is as bad of a color commentator as everyone says he is, but I strongly disagree with that one. No, They're running the ball because they know they can just outrun any player in Michigan State's defense. Like, they are basically telling you, Michigan State University, you do not have the personnel of a competitive Power 4 team. You saw it with how they scripted their opening plays. Outside runs. Hey, just quick little screens where we're just going to go one-on-one with your guys, and we're going to outrun you. It was actually ironic that USC, the only time they had problems in the first half is when they were 5 yards away from the end zone. That's probably because they ran out of space where they could just beat your guys straight up in a track meet. So, yeah, look, there's a tweet out there from Moneybag. That's right. That's the guy's name. Great follow on MSU Twitter, but he wrote it best. So I'm just going to go ahead and steal his words. The frustrating thing about this defense is that anyone who watched last year and paid attention to the portal additions saw it coming. And it truly was just a Jimmy's and a Joe's matchup today. And this is where it gets uncomfortable because we're going to talk about these hardworking players, right? You know, these hardworking student athletes that are great representatives that put their body, all jokes aside, that put their bodies on the line to play this very violent game, guys. But look, as someone that has to break down these games, as someone that has to have an honest conversation with you, my beautiful fellow Michigan State fans, let's talk about why it is the way it. Why do we kind of look like a JV defense going against a varsity offense more times than not? Well, look, one of your defensive ends that started today was a guy who got out of the portal that lost his starting job at Texas Tech in the middle of last season. Like, he didn't join the portal in the spring just because he was doing so great at whatever college town Texas Tech is. My brain's half working right now. But, yeah, that's one of your starters. You have a guy that was getting first quarter reps, like heavy first quarter reps, that wasn't even a starter at Georgia State last year, and even before that stop at Jacksonville State, wasn't even a starter then. And that's who you're relying on to get first quarter reps early on. You have young guys also from a Mountain West team. You also have a guy that didn't play a single snap last year at Wisconsin that you are heavily relying on. And I'll stop being coy about it. I'll just start saying the names. David Santiago, after a redshirt freshman season at Air Force, like, he produced there. I thought it was a solid pickup. You get Anelu Lafayette, former four-star, one of the top kids out of Hawaii. He didn't play a single snap at Wisconsin last year. Fine pickup, but those can't be the pickups that you are relying on. Like, those are good, young. We're going to just groom them to be really good edge guys one day. Problem was, you needed, like, today impact players. You needed guys to step up after a season last year with 6 games without a sack. We all know that stat. They were bottom 3 in the conference in sacks, I believe. You guys, I don't need the stats to tell you. It sucked last year. They needed drastic help at the pass rush position. You couldn't just have the young guys be your only guys, right? But here we are. I mean, you also got a few guys on this defense that are playing in their, 6th or 7th year. And that's great on them that they're getting this opportunity in college. But how many times has a unit been anchored by guys that are in their 6th or 7th year of college? Usually, if you're around for that long, you're not really a difference maker. And it did not help that Jordan Hall was ejected for targeting. And look, was it a good call? Well, I'll tell you what, that's been the call for the last 10 years of football. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. Was Jordan Hall in a can't-win situation? Absolutely was, but you can catch that play, it seems like a dozen times every Saturday. So I get it. It sucked. It was a bummer. But what else was a bummer is that Brady Pretzloff, the guy that's his backup, he didn't even make the trip. I mean, you had Quindarius Dunnigan, Nikai Martinez knocking each other out on the same play, and we all know the situation with Wayne Matthews. It was tough. I mean, God, and it's just not even like the stats. And look, we're going to get to Joe Rossi here in a second. Joe Rossi isn't like making guys miss sacks on 3rd and long when the game was a 7-point game, right? We all know what play I'm talking about. Their quarterback, Jaden Mayava, he's surrounded. He gets out of it. All right, Joe Rossi isn't, forcing a guy to have a face mask penalty on 3rd and 6 when you had Mayava dead to rights. It was about to be 4th and 6. Maybe USC kicks a field goal. Maybe they still get ultra aggressive and try to go for it, but you keep it a 10-point game. Rossi is not in control of that. Rossi is in control of a few things. So we're going to get into that more because, the personnel I just talked about, it's as if someone's in charge of enlisting said players into this lineup. We can blame poor personnel if it's year 1 of a rebuild. I was very patient for it last year. Hey, you got to make sure you get your guys. It's now been 4 portal cycles. You knew the issues last year We're going to talk about that before I just start really losing my cool. First, you need to talk your ears off about the game cap. That's right. I'm rocking one right now. Guys, it's vintage. It's great. It's stylish. Even when you're just a very upset podcaster, you still look better than everyone else in this game cap. Quick question for all you football fans out there. If you can go back in time and sit front row to one of your school's biggest rivalry games, what hat would you be wearing? That's right. Not who would you go with, not what game would it be, but what hat would you be wearing? Well, how about this one? How about the game? That's right. These just aren't hats, guys. They're the same vintage styles that fans wore back in the 80s, the 90s, and guess what? They still go for the same price they did back then. That you heard me right. When you use code LOCKEDON, you will get your vintage hat for $16.99. Guys, like nothing costs that much anymore. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So head to thegamecaps.com. That is thegamecaps.com. Grab your team's classic bar or retro circle design and use code LOCKEDON for an exclusive discount because legends wear the game. Also, guys, need to talk your ears off about Alumni Hall because if you want to look the best, well, head to Alumni Hall this game day and this whole football season, guys, because Alumni Hall has the largest selection of officially licensed gear from all the top brands you're looking for. We're talking Nike, Columbia, Champion, Yeti. New Era is up there too, guys. They have so much. They have gear for the entire family, from kids to adults. Huge selection of hats, gifts, tailgating gear. You name it, you're going to want it this football season. And they really take care of the Spartan community, Michigan State students and faculty, as well as military and all first responders. That is 10% off with a valid ID in the store they're going to give you. And on top of all that, guys, follow them on social media. Download the Alumni Hall app. You'll find even better deals there. So pop into Alumni Hall in the Eastwood Town Center in Lansing near the Apple Store, or shop online or through their app. And the best part is, for every $150 you spend, you're going to get $10 in Hall cash to use the next time. So grab the new game day look or upgrade your tailgate with Alumni Hall, your ultimate Michigan State shopping destination. All right, so that was like the season. I mean, you're going to see that against other teams. Now, will it be as drastic as USC versus Michigan State with the quality of athletes USC has? No, probably not. Probably not until you face Penn State. I'm sure Michigan will have something to say about that with their solid running backs too. But yeah, that's just not like a roster that can like compete at a high level in the Big Ten. And so, like, yeah, you're like, oh, what kind of scheme is Joe Rossi running? What is he doing as a coach? Well, I'll tell you what, the front four can never apply pressure. His blitzes rarely get home, so he's kind of handcuffed here. But, gee, doesn't it seem like we're the guy that handcuffed ourselves here? And I talked about it all offseason. I'm not going to take any words back. This team had a lot of glaring holes that they needed to patch up in the transfer portal. It's like you're going out shopping for a giant family reunion barbecue. You have so many items to get, but my God, you only got $30 in your pocket. You're really going to have to stretch this thing. They had to supply the wide receiver room with an entire new wide receiver room other than Nick Marsh last year. The offensive line needed help. The secondary room completely gutted last year, specifically the cornerbacks and also the pass rush. You had a lot of holes to fill with a finite number of resources, but still, it had to look better than that. I don't know how you do it, but that's not my job. I'm not the one getting paid north of $1 million to do it. No, that's you over there. So, yeah, on one hand, yeah, I empathize with this isn't the greatest crop of players, but you're the one shopping for them. You're the one assessing them at the end of the season, during last season, and then making the decisions on who you are and are not bringing into this program. And I get it. It is a little tough to recruit here to Michigan State when you are not winning. We had Justin Thindon in the offseason, and even he said that, hey, he knew of some players that went to different schools quite simply because they had a better shot at competing for relevant games like college football playoffs. You can't rest your entire pass rush into guys that lost their starting jobs or young guys at Mountain West schools. It just has to look better than that. And also, too, from a scheme standpoint, too, look, early in the game, USC pinned against the 5-yard line. Why is one of your defensive ends on the 15-yard line during that? I get that you're trying an overloaded blitz on one side. That doesn't work. Try sending 5 guys instead of just 4 and not having a defensive end kind of just doing nothing in the middle of the field at the 15-yard line. Why is there so many concepts when Mekhi Lemon is basically one-on-one with whoever he was going to barbecue on the other side of him that day? And also, why does it look like your players have never seen an RPO in their entire lives? Why? Anyway, defensive good moments. I do want to be fair to all the kids here. Spencer, what a big hit that he had in the first quarter. On the first drive, actually, to be specific. Ice Moa, I got to say, I do enjoy whenever he's on the field. I think he was a solid pickup out of BYU, but you're only seeing him on primarily third and long situations, passing down situations, which is what we thought was going to happen going into the season. But I mean, at this point, you got to see more of him. Everyone should have an opportunity with this defense. Armarian Smith, really nice punch out. Kike Burnett at the very end of the game, I thought looks the part. I believe he's a redshirt freshman, maybe true freshman. Again, my brain's working at 50% right now. Before we get into the offense, because I did actually want to talk about them for a little bit here. The coaching concerned me again. And it's not as big of an issue as it was last week against Youngstown State, right? Where they completely botched the 2-minute drill at the end of the first half, just basic clock management issues. It's not the Boston College thing where, hey, they had a really good play with 40 seconds left. Hey, let's get into field goal range, and then they just run out the clock inexplicably. No, the thing that I want to rail on really quick is right before halftime, and again, this isn't the reason Michigan State won or lost that game. It's just a matter of game theory and just the principles of decision making here. It is 24-10. 24-10. And Michigan State, they got the ball at the 40-yard line. Option 1, as your defense can't stop a soul, USC has and will score every single time they get the ball the rest of the game pretty much. Do we just try for a Hail Mary? A play that's an 8 or 10% chance. Again, I know how low the odds are of completing a Hail Mary. Or do we kick a field goal to make a 2-possession game, a 2-touchdown game, still a 2-possession and a 2-touchdown game? Should, by the grace of God, this 56-yard field goal go in? I'm just weighing the odds here. Very low for a Hail Mary, but at least you get touchdowns, which is what you're going to need to win this game. Or we're going to try this field goal that, coming off the foot, I'll tell you what, that looked like it was at best a 50% chance of ever going in on the best day. Just to get 3 points, where again, I'll say it for the 4th time, what does 3 points do to you in a 24-10 game? I want to be very clear. This is far from the reason. This had really no impact on the game. But it's just a decision-making issue that I have yet again. Or also, at the very end of the game, it's a 7-point game. You're going to need all 3 timeouts as the game is miraculously somewhat close again. USC first and goal at the 6-yard line. They go into Wildcat, and you burn up one of your precious timeouts there. I don't know if they just didn't see the right personnel in the field, but at that point, you have so many guys hurt. What is the right personnel? And I could tell you from my couch over in Metro Detroit that, hey, if it's a Wildcat, I'm going to take a gander that guy's going to run with the ball. And I think the entire defense knows that too. You don't got to burn up one of your timeouts for that. But they did. I also thought it was very puzzling too. Again, I'm just grasping at straws here. I'm just complaining to complain. But this is the last real drive of the game when it was a 14-point game. Michigan State had to score. They had the run game going actually pretty good in the second half. Mekhi Frazier, Mr. Cutbacks himself. Woo! He was cooking. I was amazed at how well he was doing. But for that drive, you started with 2 runs to Brandon Tolis, who wasn't moving the ball well at all that evening. That got you in the 3rd and long. That got you in the 4th and long. And eventually, Aidan Chiles had one of his few bad moments of the game. But again, it was probably a foregone conclusion that the game was over anyway. So, guys, I do want to talk more about this offense. I want to get to some of your thoughts if my voice can hold up here for a little bit longer. But first, I need to talk everyone's ears off about Square. Guys, that's right. Square is all about local businesses. They want to keep neighborhoods just running at a high and great clip. That's why they're available at so many places, guys. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's a local sports bar packed on game days, a coffee shop that knows your order by heart. I'll be visiting them 5 times tomorrow. Or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. These are the places that bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, guys, the whole neighborhood thrives. All right, Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, guys, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy that you did. It's Square. We will see you in the neighborhood. Also, guys, FanDuel, which can I tune my own horn really quick? Can we do that? Every Friday we do 5 best bets. Someone here, could be anyone, went 5-0 in 5 best bets. So FanDuel, I know I've donated a lot of money to you recently, but yeah, some of that's coming back. That's right. And the best part about FanDuel is that money with the withdrawal process, so simple with FanDuel. And guys, if you're a new customer, you want to get in on this action, it's going to get even sweeter for you. New customers can bet just $5, and if that first bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes games so much more exciting, guys, like the same game parlays, or hey, even for games you have no involvement in, which will be me on Sunday. My Lions play on Monday. Yeah, we'll be getting down and dirty with some same-game parlays, first-time touchdown scores, you name it. So, guys, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. All right, I'm so sorry, guys. I need a drink of water so bad. Thank you. Okay, hopefully that gives my voice 10 more minutes here. The offense I thought was like, okay. I mean, was I in love with it? No. One of the biggest talking points that we had going into this game, and this was actually the title of our preview show, is that Michigan State must establish the run to have any shot of beating USC. They did not establish the run. That was a bummer. Let me just tell you what happened the first 3 drives of this game here. USC had 4 tackles for loss in the first 3 drives for Michigan State of the game. After the first 3 drives, Michigan State was moving the ball on the ground 1.3 yards in 9 rushing attempts. Not great. In the first half as a whole, Michigan State had 12 designed rushes. 4 of them went for a loss, and then just 3 of those went for at least 5 yards. It was a slog moving the ball, but massive credit for turning it around in the second half. Mekhi Frazier, some of it was good offensive line blocking. Some of it was just Mekhi Frazier just having incredible vision, which is something that we didn't really see last week against Youngstown State. And speaking of the Youngstown State game, miraculous comeback. For him to leave the field not even putting weight on his leg last week, I thought that they were just going to saw his leg off last Saturday, and to having a performance like that, so massive credit to Mekhi Frazier, the least of our concerns after this game tonight. But there's one thing that I don't know, I didn't really think was that massive of an issue, and maybe I'll out myself as an idiot here, but I heard a lot of why can't they just get the ball to Marsh? How aren't they finding ways to get the ball to Marsh right now? And I do understand it. Let's see what the stats were. I think he only had 3 targets tops. No, he had 5. He ended the game with 5 targets, 2 catches, 28 yards. Yeah, very quiet night for him. But whenever there was a replay angle where you could kind of see what was going on behind the scenes, Nick Marsh did have a safety also bracketed on top of him more times than not. USC knew the game plan with Nick Marsh. It was we're going to give that guy a little extra attention. Maybe something that Michigan State could have tried with Mekhi Lemon, but I digress. We're going to move forward from that. We're here to talk about the offense. Also, what the nice thing is, too, with this offense, you do have more playmakers than just Nick Marsh. Like Amari Kelly, 6 catches, 133 yards, and yes, a lot of that was burnt up with that garbage time touchdown, if you want to call it. But that's a dynamic playmaker, too. Okay, and look, Michigan State also didn't run as many plays as USC did. They got a lot in late, but as we went into halftime, I mean, USC had 15 more plays run than Michigan State. It was just hard keeping track of the ball here. So I get it. I want to lash out at everyone too. I'm not thrilled with how everything went, but I think the offense showed some promise here. And I would not be saying that if it wasn't for the run game in the second half, but I saw enough there to feel okay. I'm not saying that we should just be feeling outstanding, but I think it was another great growth day. Namely for your quarterback, too, Aidan Chiles, who started 7 for 7. Yes, he did love those opening scripted plays. After that, was it perfect? No, but look, his left tackle, Stanton Ramil, he's out of the game. You got a young guy, Rustin Young. He's fighting for his life over there. There was a lot of pressure with Aidan Chiles, a lot of pressure. So, yes, hey, could he find Nick Marsh? No, probably because Nick Marsh was doubled, and you can't complete a long crossing route in the middle of the field when your quarterback is running like a gazelle away from a pack of lions 1 second into his drop back. So, Look, but even with all that, I thought Chiles, no turnovers. I thought he was still mature in his decision-making. I thought he took really good care of the ball. He was still electric enough with his legs. Guys, this might sound ridiculous. You might think I'm just a little too high in my own supply, and I'm just trying to cash in all my Aidan Chiles chips possible. I think a game like tonight really showed that he is one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten, and I don't think that's that out of line because look around the Big Ten. Like, where are the stars really in this conference? Dante Moore, he's balling out. I've been very proven wrong on Oregon so far. I said that. I just don't know if Dante Moore is going to be good enough to immediately take the keys and keep that machine humming. He's going to be just fine over there. But outside of him, obviously Maeva, he's got to be up there, certainly. But I would put Aiden Chiles in the upper third for Big Ten, maybe even upper quarter for quarterbacks. And going in tough conditions on the road, your left tackle's hurt, your run game can't get off the ground. I think overall he played a fine game. Am I saying that he should be invited to New York for the Heisman ceremony? No, but I think that, guys, in a year, in the first 3 or 4 games, we wanted to see just how much growth that this guy has had in the offseason. I think he showed it pretty much in spades so far. So we're going to get to a few of your thoughts, guys, because, hey, you know what? It was 2:30. It's 3 a.m. now. I said we were blown out in the first half. They kept it exciting for 7 minutes in the second half. It's an MSU loss in Cali. What are your thoughts? Now, there are a lot of people for the Nick Marsh crowd out there that were just like Spartan Dog 97. Nick Marsh should go into Smith's office on Monday and threaten to shut it down for the year and hit the portal this offseason if Rossi isn't fired. Now, that's a power move right there. There's a lot of player empowerment this day and age. I mean, if Nick Marsh wants to go ahead and do that, by all means. Pivot tables, it's bleak in East Lansing. What do you see as a path forward for this football program? I don't have enough time to answer that question fully, but we're going to get into it in the bye week here. We're going to have some guests. We're going to have a lot of iterations of that question here, but really quick, just in the micro, the season, I'll tell you what, I didn't watch a ton of Nebraska, Michigan. I don't just sit down, glued to the television for Michigan games. I'm sorry. I love a hate watch as much as the rest of you guys, but what I did see, though, is a vulnerable Nebraska team. Like they have been every year. Only idiots would think that Nebraska would hit their win total over year in and year out. I'm raising my hand right now. I'm one of those idiots. But yeah, once again, like Nebraska does look vulnerable. They look like a lesser version of this USC team, and they cannot stop the run. I know that Michigan's got a very good run offense, but they cannot stop the run. I'm not saying Nebraska is a must win, but oh man, I think we got some rights to be a little peeved if you're not walking away from that game looking competitive, if not winning that one. Outside of that, UCLA has to be a win. I do feel like you can win one of these at Iowa or at Minnesota games. I still think the Michigan game at home is definitely gettable. I went into the season thinking 7-5 was the record. If you made me pick, go up a win or down a win. With the schedule being tough, I would have gone down to 6-6. I still think that's what it's going to net out as. And if it's not that, I think we have every right to be a frustrated fan base and start demanding results here. All right, Coop says, no D, Rossi needs to row his boat back to Minnesota. And we got a lot of comments, too, about how Rossi was just a Big Ten West merchant, how he just, feasted on those horrible offenses of the Big Ten West. And, yeah, there's something to be said about that. But also, if you go back to, his defenses did pretty decently whenever they did have to cross over and play Big Ten East teams. It's baffling, and he just it's so stupid to say well, look at the guys he has to play with. It's a bunch of expats that lost their starting jobs at Power 4 conferences. Well, you're the one that picked them to come here. So Michael writes in, why are they fully incapable of sealing edges and covering flats? Run defense seems to clog up the middle well enough, but outside of that has been rough. That was, I should have spent more time talking about that. They actually have done a good job at sealing the edge so far this season, I thought. And there were even moments, too, when they did seal the edge, but their guys were just so quick that it didn't even matter in the end. It's almost like they broke contain after you already accomplished said contain, but whatever. I mean, it's because that we're just slow and they're fast. I'm sorry to boil it down to something so simple, but yeah, truly today, the scripted plays for USC, it was, okay, we're just going to get our guys in space, and we're going to chew up 13 yards minimum every time we do it because ain't no one catching us. Ain't no one catching us on your defense. And that's unfortunately what it was. No, we have seen games where this team actually can contain and bring everything to the middle of the field. And when you're playing against, teams that don't have dynamite athletes like USC, it can and will work. But man, oh man. AA Ron writes in, is there even a path to a bowl game? We can get past UCLA, but I don't see us winning any of the remaining 8. You know what game I did not mention, who I'm not like scared yet, but I have reason to be if we go a few weeks and this keeps happening. Maryland looks pretty good. They got the best freshman quarterback in the Big Ten that seemingly no one wants to talk about. And I get it. Michigan's the big brand name. You got to, fillet that quarterback as much as we possibly can. But no, it's Maryland that has the best true freshman quarterback in this conference. That young man's been balling out over there as they sent an axe right through the heart of Luke Fickell. Goodness gracious. At least we're not Wisconsin. That's right. Suck it. Whatever. Their defense actually probably got at least one stop today. Andy writes in, oh, boy, how's this going to go? The universe is expanding into an inevitable heat death, and we have a minuscule moment of glorious experience in this reality where nothing ultimately matters. I feel like ending the episode there. That's an upbeat way to end this and get us into the rest of our weekend. No, a lot of you guys are not fans of Rossi. Let me tell you that. It's a big bye week coming up. I mean, just like mentally and like physically for the health of this team. We don't know I'm out of words. How bad the injuries are. How about that? I'll use layman terms. How bad the injuries are for, Ramil. Obviously, Quindarius Dunnigan, Nikai Martinez. We don't know all that. Wayne Matthews, obviously, you could expect a longer return for him. But you need guys back and just like a mental reset. I don't know how much a mental reset can do. It's not like your 40 time is going to improve with a mental reset. But yeah, this team, of course, needs a break. And like no team can benefit from a 2 bye-week season more than Michigan State here. I mean, we're going to end the show with this. Defense, you have every bit to not just be concerned, but just like outright upset that this is what it looks like. The offense, I'm like, overall, not just this game, but the 4 games, like I'm really happy with. Like we have seen this great growth of Aiden Chiles. He's taking care of the ball. You have your dynamic playmakers. The run game looks better than what I thought it was. And is it perfect? No. But my bar was also on the floor because that's where it ended last season. So they need a bye week. They need to keep it close. And I need you guys to have a great weekend. I'm going to sleep for 3 hours. I'm going to wake up. It's one of my kids' birthdays. We're going to try to bring as much energy as humanly possible. Got to coach youth baseball, a bunch of 4 and 5-year-olds at about noon today too. So look, whether you're religious or not, I don't care who you even pray to. And not to like make everything about me right now. Pray for me though. This could be one of those Sundays. And guys, I'm going to bounce that right back to you. I'm going to send the prayers. I'm going to send the vibes back over to your way as well because we're all busy. Who are we kidding? Guys, have a great rest of your weekend. This is unbelievable that it is 3:17 in the morning right now, and I'm staring at a number that says there are 238 live viewers. You guys are all sickos, but you guys are all my friends and my family. I love every single one of you. Thanks a lot, guys, for making this bearable. Worth it. You guys, I love every single one of you. I end every show with saying I love you. I truly actually mean that. That's not just a throwaway line. You guys are all the best. Have a great rest of your week. We will be back. Full rack of shows, full rack of guests this upcoming week. We're going to talk recruiting for a little bit. We're going to get more of a national look. We got some new rules. The new portal window just opened for the NCAA. So we'll get into all that this week. And at the end of the day, this team's still 3-1. Let's go. All right, guys. Love you all. Go Green.